It's time to get things started on the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, situational. This is what we call the Dynasty.
An all-star fantasy football experience.
Welcome to the Dynasty Podcast. I am Commissioner Eric Costanza, and we are just a little bit more now than two-thirds of the way through the regular season. We're headed towards the home stretch. Co-hosting with me over the phone is our newest member of the league. He's coach of the now 3-8, no longer in dead last in the league, but he is last in the South Division. He is coach of the of Valvinus. Coach.
Hello, everybody.
Craig Bedesian. Hello, Briscoe. How are you this evening?
I'm fantastic. How are you, Eric?
I'm doing good. I'm a little tired, honestly. We just got back from California yesterday, and the whole jet lag, getting used to the time difference thing is really it's hit me hard. Briscoe. Yeah. But I'm gonna power through this. Feel free to take control of this entire show if you'd like. But I'll try to guide us here. I know that you're breaking your virginity here as a co-host, so thank you for doing that.
Yeah, no problem. I thought you were tired of winning for a minute, but I guess it was the jet lag.
You can never be tired of winning, my friend. So let's talk a little bit about let's start by discussing your team, I guess, if we could. Obviously, things aren't going as well as you probably hoped for your rookie campaign. I know that you were kind of predicted to be somewhere in like the 7 to 8 win range. That doesn't look like it's going to happen. You did get a big win here last week, and when I say big, it doesn't really matter, but at least you're not last in the league right now, and you did put up the most amount of points that you have so far, scoring 99 points last week against the Senators. Talk to me a little bit about your team and if you're, where you're at, I guess, as a coach here with Valvinus.
I mean, I think what really I think I knew early that I wasn't really going to be in contention this year. I mean, I think I made a trade week 3 or something, traded Emmanuel Sanders and somebody else for a 5th round pick.
Yeah.
And what I got back was actually better than what I've traded. Looking at the Riverdale Gazette in your most recent post, I actually made out of the trade and get a 5th round pick.
Right.
And then I got rid of Gronk as well shortly after that. I mean, that was all within 4 or 5 weeks. I mean, if I have Gronk and all those guys combined, I probably have 2 more wins. Mm-hmm. What's that? That puts me at 5-6, and who knows, honestly, because everything's so bunched up.
Right. And we're gonna get into the, the current playoff race and everything that's going on later. But that's a good point, and I do think you might be in the top, or at least towards the top. From a grade the trade standpoint, that's a new thing that we started up this year. It's in the Gazette.
I am number 1, actually.
Are you number 1? Okay, yeah. So
I've just completed another trade about 10 minutes ago as well.
Whoa! Hey, now. Okay, you know what? You table that because we may or may not have some more news to get to as far as trades and breaking news and whatnot. So look at that. See, you listen into the Dynasty podcast, and you're going to get up to the second information here, late-breaking information here. So, Briscoe, you table that. We'll get to that. Now, I wanted to ask you, as a new member of the league here, hopefully the last new member in the history of this league until all of our offspring take it over from us, some of which aren't even born yet. How is the league going in general here so far? I guess my main question here is twofold. My first is, what's maybe the most pleasantly surprising aspect of the league? I'll let you answer that one first.
I think probably the communication and the open lines between everybody else, and it's nice to just be able to reach out to anybody in the league and have an immediate feedback. Mm-hmm. I mean, today when I'm going back and forth with trades with a couple guys, I mean they get back to me almost instantaneously. Where I mean, you have other leagues where people might be checked out, they're not paying attention, or they're not going to respond to your email. Here, I think it's really nice that people are always giving you feedback and always trying to make a deal or work with.
That's great to hear. I'm great to hear that. I do think there might be some certain members of the league that could still work on that, but in general, I think that that I mean, it's 2016. We all have our goddamn cell phones right with us that you get notified right away when you get a text or an email or a tweet or whatever. Obviously, you may not be able to respond right away, but I'm glad to hear that that's a positive aspect here. What would you say maybe is maybe one of the more disappointing aspects of the league? And you will not hurt my feelings. This is a question that I'm curious about. Maybe it's something we can work on.
That 4 teams make the playoffs.
Ah, okay. All right. Well, that's not going to change. No, I'm not going to say that's not going to change. But, yeah, I think it's bullshit when leagues have, like, half their league make the playoffs. Like, there needs to be a little bit of, it needs to be coveted, and you need to work hard to get there. You don't need to be, like, the 6th best team in a 12-team league to make the playoffs. But I see the other end as well.
Yeah, I mean, the 1 and 2 seeds get buys, so I mean,
I
there's
hate
a
that.
reward for being at the top.
Hate it. Hate the bye thing. I hate it. We got to maximize every week of fantasy goodness, and the fact that you get, I don't know. It's not right now. I'm not feeling it. I'm not going to say I'm never going to feel it. I think it would help if the NFL ever expanded their regular season, which certainly may happen in the coming years. But hey, if enough people speak, then of course I would have to listen. But right now, it's probably not going to happen anytime soon. But
is that going to be on the ballot? Is that going to be on the ballot for next year's rule changes?
Nobody has officially submitted it, but feel free to email me at the dynastykcommissioner@gmail.com, and it's certainly something that the Dynasty board members will discuss.
All right, I will take this as my official...
Rejected. You need to email me.
And I will also email you.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. So we got a jam-packed show. We are going to discuss, what transpired during last week, Week 11. We're going to talk a little bit about some power rankings. We're going to provide you with a playoff race update. We're going to look ahead to a very exciting, very intriguing Week 12 coming up. We're going to give you dickheads a chance to actually take part in this show. We're going to give you the opportunity to ask Briscoe and I some questions. We're going to have a Call the Dynasty podcast team segment here. And then we're also going to just have a little fun interactive segment where Briscoe and I are going to try to predict the future. So Briscoe, without further ado, let's go ahead and get this shit going, shall we?
Let's go.
Now let's take a look into last week's results. Who kicked some ass? Who sucked?
Okay, Briscoe, so Week 11. I would say the biggest takeaway from an NFL standpoint was the massive amount of extra points that were missed. I think there was a record-breaking, 12, 13?
12, I think.
Yeah.
I think there were 12 of them. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think any were missed last night, right?
I don't think so. I was on a plane, but I don't recall hearing about any being missed. I think 2 kickers missed twice, so there were 10 kickers in total, but 12 extra points missed. There was also an individual in the Minnesota Vikings, I don't know if security or sound guy that almost died when he got trampled. Did you see that?
I saw that. I don't know who he thought he was running out in front of the tunnel, but it didn't end up well
It
for him.
did not. He literally went airborne, and I thought he was dead.
Actually,
Go
did
ahead.
you see the extended cut? I was wondering. They kept showing him get run over, but they didn't show the guy come back and pick him up.
Oh no, I didn't.
The guy that ran him over actually came back to go see if he's okay, and he's standing over him like, "Do you want me to help you out?" And this guy's like doing the kibber on the ground. He couldn't even get up.
I did not see that. No. Do you know who it was? Was it Everson Griffin? Do you know
I believe so.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
Yeah. Okay. From a dynasty standpoint, we saw a bunch of good games, a lot of close games, almost some serious upsets going on. Kind of run through them here. So I beat Hong Kong, and I actually became the first team to obtain 20,000 all-time points. Now, obviously, that stat has a lot to do just with the fact that I've been in the league since the beginning. I guess Phil and I have, so it's really between him and I. But what else? The other game that wasn't really much of a matchup was actually you beating Senators. You destroyed Will, which must have felt good for you. And then Yoi Soy, Coach Derek Mello, handedly beat Coach Brian of the Solglonians in a game that Derek needed. I feel like if Derek lost, he may have been maybe thinking about selling, but we're going to get into the playoff race, but he obviously won, and I would think he's going to continue to go all out here. And then we saw 3 games, Briscoe, that was very, very close. It went right down to the Monday night game. Bubba Gump defeated Heaney 105 to 103. Handy Quack barely beat Loggers by 2 points as well in a low-scoring game, 76 to 74. And then Pig Newtons and CJ Fadingading, whatever his name is, defeated Brandon 116 to 109. Regarding those 3 games, Briscoe, anything you wanted to discuss, talk about, add?
I mean, I think a big one is I can't believe Zach's team looks really good on paper, and I mean it just fell apart. He scored 76 points this week. I mean, Tyrod Taylor's a bum. He's either hit or miss, I guess.
Yep.
I mean, but even on his bench, he sat Roethlisberger, and Roethlisberger only put up 8 points for him too.
Yeah. 8 points.
8 points.
Yeah,
8 points. Other than that, I mean, it's just. I mean, you got Brutal Deluxe, Brandon playing Pig Newtons. He lost basically because Tom Brady decided to go nuts in the San Fran defense in the second half. And, I mean, the Patriots looked terrible in the first half. You only watch that first half of the game. You don't think Brady's putting up 36 fantasy points to knock Brandon back. And I think that was a big loss for him, too, because he was in pretty much control of his own destiny when he went that game 7-4. And 4 o'clock games come, and down he goes.
Right. Were you have you had any communication with Coach Chris Heaney? Do you know how hard he's taking the loss as far as deciding to go with guys like Jonathan Stewart, Latavius Murray, over Gurley, over Gore, who if he played any one of those combinations, he would have won. It's going to be tough when your coaching decision makes the difference.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually around him coming into this week, and he had no idea who to start. He knew that he thought his bench. I saw the odds maker.
Yeah.
One of his decisions was his bench was actually going to outscore his actual team. I mean, I think he was in a lose-lose situation. I mean, Murray against Houston, and Stewart. You have Stewart against New Orleans. I mean, how can you not play Stewart against New Orleans? The New Orleans defense stinks.
Right. Nice pickup by Coach Bub, grabbing Pittsburgh's defense on the free agent list and starting them over last week. They put up 22 points. Obviously, that helped with the victory. Coaching decisions all over the place that are really affecting wins and losses and good stuff. So let's let's segue over to another segment. Let's do that right now.
Yep.
The Power Rankings. Hey, who's number 1? Hey, who's second ass? The Dynasty Power Rankings.
All right, Briscoe. So when we had our show a couple weeks ago, whenever it was with Derek, I kindly asked him to put together a little bit of his own personal power rankings that we could maybe kind of talk about. We're going to do that again here with you. I've asked you to do the same thing, and you obliged, so thank you for that. So let's go ahead and start. I'm going to leave it up to you here. Do you want to start from the bottom, work your way up, go from the middle, and kind of go outward-wise? I don't know how that would work, but how do you want to do this?
Let's start at 12. Let's do what we did last week.
Okay.
Bottom up. I think that keeps people guessing on the edge of their seats.
Yeah, that worked last show. All right, go.
My number 12 is Hong Kong Cavaliers.
Yeah.
I have no idea how he has won 1 game, never mind 3.
Wow.
I mean, who's he have? He has Howard, and that's really it. He ran into Howard halfway through this year. And I can't even find anybody else on his team that's even a relevant person.
What would I do, or what would you say, Briscoe, if I told you that there are, I think, if I remember correctly, I think there's about 5 people, almost half of the league, who feel that Coach Whiffen is the best franchise in the Dynasty.
Oh, I wouldn't disagree. This year his team is horrible.
Yes.
I mean, doesn't he have how many championships does he have?
He's got two. He's got two in the last 3 years, and
right.
that's obviously the main reason for that. Now, as far as this year is concerned, absolutely, he's not doing that hot right now. I mean, obviously he started behind the 8 ball with his draft, and that's the price to pay sometimes when you're winning a championship, right?
Cool.
But yeah, he's got the least points in the league, and he's 3-8. He's tied for the worst record in the league, so it's hard to really argue that he's at the bottom. Who do you got next, sir?
So looking in the Gazette, actually, his championships is still listed as 1 in the Gazette.
Oh, it is. Shit, I'll have to update that. That is my mistake. Apparently, my editorial staff, consisting of 13 chimpanzees, didn't catch that, so I will make sure to reprimand them appropriately.
Well, that's an error 3, actually. Never mind, I may be wrong.
Oh, okay. Well, then
I stand corrected.
Then the chimpanzees are still employed. Thank you.
Good. 3 cents an hour. Number 11. Rolling in at number 11, I have Boston Loggers. I think that they have not a bad team. I mean, he's got some hope with Mariota, Fuller, Ivory. I think he's got a little bit of trade bait. He can probably get some picks for next year with them if he makes the right trades. When's this podcast getting posted? I don't want him taking my trades away.
Sure. So we're currently recording on what the hell is today? Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tuesday night. And I'm guessing this won't be posted until early Wednesday morning. So.
Oh. Fine, no one's going to listen to it Wednesday night.
Yeah, we may or may not have anyone listen to this with it being Thanksgiving, so we may just be talking to ourselves and posting it for nobody to hear, but that's okay.
You can't win them all.
I kind of thought Senators would be 11, to be honest. I look at Lager's team, I look at especially the points scored, and he's over 1,000. He's got more points scored than you, more points scored than Will. Yep. I disagree with you, but that's fine. This is your power rankings. I think that Loggers is towards the bottom. I don't know if he's that bottom, but that's fair enough. Who do you have 10?
I mean, I think I really put him towards the bottom because I don't really see a keeper on his team, and I think that's going to be a big gap there. But
that's a good point. So wait a minute, I'm confused. Earlier you were talking about the fact that Whiffen was last in the league due to just solely this season, which is really probably what it's what we're referring to. But now you're talking about Ben being towards the bottom because you don't think he has a keeper, which is kind of implying next year. So
but a keeper is usually a powerhouse player.
Yeah.
If you don't have a powerhouse player, you don't have somebody that's going to go off. For
oh,
20,
gotcha.
So,
why does Whiffen have that? Oh, wait, no. Whiffen's in last, right, so he wouldn't. Okay, I gotcha. So, do you have that?
So, I have probably a tier below that.
Okay, so you think maybe, yeah.
My thought is I have Alshon Jeffrey. I had Dion Lewis, Eric Ebron average. I picked up Russell Wilson, which was very, very peculiar drop. I mean, he's got 31, 30, 24 points the last 3 weeks when he's finally been healthy.
Yeah. I was pretty surprised that Brandon decided to drop Russell Wilson, especially considering the conversation him and I had. Him and I are the only ones left at my place of employment that are still there. There was a bunch of other guys in the league that no longer work there. So him and I talk every now and then. And I mentioned to him that last year Russell Wilson went off in the second half, and I could see that happening again. And then the next day he dropped him, and now look what's happening. So I was actually a little surprised at that drop as well.
I have no idea. I'm trying to give him to Heaney, but Heaney's not biting. He wants to fall out of playoff contention apparently. But I mean, I have Steve Smith, who's surprisingly came back from the dead. He's 105 years old, but he's still having a good season. I think I don't have a great team. Obviously, I haven't put up 100 all year, but
right.
I think I have some building blocks there, and I also, have some solid players that other people would really covet.
I gotcha. So, do you put yourself then at 10, or are you putting Senators at 10?
I put myself at 10.
Okay, and we kind of touched upon you. So then at 9, are you you have Senators?
9, I got Senators.
Yeah.
And then I hate to do it because I hate to put Will at number 9. Rather than number 12.
Yeah.
But, and I did beat him last week, obviously.
Yeah.
And I can't look that biased. But he does have Rawls and Forte as his 2 running backs, and Rawls is obviously coming back strong with Procise done for the season. Forte's had a pretty solid year. I mean, meanwhile, my running backs are like Bilal Powell and Dion Lewis and anything else I can find on the free agent wire.
Well, regarding Rawls, you remember you said that because we may or may not have a little bit of an update in regards to that individual in a little while. Number 8, we're gonna pick up the pace here. Number 8, who do you have there?
Solgo.
Yep, that makes sense. No reason to continue an elaboration. He's probably better than the teams we just talked about, but not better than any of the teams that we're about to announce. Who's next?
VIP on Swole.
Okay, so now we're getting into, I think we can all agree at this point, are the teams still in contention. And you're putting VIP at the bottom of those teams in contention, which then to me implies that you're thinking he's not making the playoffs. Am I right, sir?
That's correct. He has no quarterback. He's got Andy Dalton starting this week with no A.J. Green. Andy Luck's dead. I mean, he's a horrible fantasy player, so that's what happens.
There it is. Yeah, he's had a horrific Era 3 here, which consists of Dynasty 11 through now, and through 15. He's towards the bottom with that. He's really craving to get back into the playoffs, get back into the thick things. He's obviously trying his damnedest to. I think he's made like 17 trades for tight ends, and he still could win the division for Christ's sakes, or he could not even make the playoffs. It's wide open. Who do you have next?
Then I got Brutal Deluxe, and the reason, and it might be a little surprising that Brutal Deluxe is this low, and the reason that he is this low is, I mean, he's got Ingram and Leggy Blunt.
Yep.
And these two are both going to lose carries. I mean, with Dion Lewis coming on, Dion Lewis got 33% of the snaps last week. White got 33%, and Blunt got 34% of the snaps last week. And I think that number is going to grow more for Lewis. And also with Ingram, he hasn't been consistent. Hightower's been playing over him. They're splitting snaps 50-50. I mean, if you lose your running back in this league, you're in some big trouble. Especially because there's not so much depth.
Yeah, you make a lot of good points there. I will combat that by saying, as we get into December, as we get into the cold weather, a lot of the times that is when Blunt does excel, and they do rely more on the ground game. But I did like what I saw out of Dion Lewis in his return game, and that could go either way. So. What number are we on? 4, 5, 6, 5? 5. Okay. Who do you got at 5?
I got Pick Newtons.
Yep.
And I mean, only really by default. I think he's a horrible team. I have no idea how he's 7-4, other than the fact that he plays Will. But he is number 5 in my rankings.
Okay.
And a division leader.
Sure. Yep. In the lead in the division. We'll get into that a little bit. Number 4. So now these are the teams that you have in the top 4, and from a power ranking standpoint. However, keep in mind, as we just talked about, obviously someone from the South has to make the playoffs, which it sounds like you're predicting to be Phil at this point. But who do you have at number 4?
I have. Where is he? I have Yo Soy Fiesta.
Okay, Yo Soy Fiesta. He's got the second most points scored in the league, but a little bit of bad luck. He's 6-5. He's won his last couple games, and he's right there. And you're saying he's the 4th team right now. Anything else? Yeah.
I expect him to get in the playoffs. The one thing that I think will kill him. The one thing I think will kill him is David Johnson in the playoff weeks.
Yeah.
Has Seattle and the Rams
yep.
for David Johnson, and he's a big time player. When he's limited in the playoffs, you're gonna have a tough time winning the whole thing.
Yep, fair enough. Trust me, I'm very familiar with Week 16 and Week 17 matchups. I've been memorizing it since the draft. Number 3,
which is another surprising. I have Bubblegum Shrimp.
Whoa, yeah, wait now. Hey now.
And Neil's going to be all over me if he listens to this podcast.
Yeah, I think typically he does listen when he's not co-hosting, so I guess we'll find out if he responds to this. So what do you have to say?
I hate that he has Rashard Jennings and Odell Beckham Jr. in his starting lineup. And one of his go-to players at the beginning of the season would have been Randy Cobb, and Randall Cobb's fallen off the map. I mean, Devontae Adams has taken over completely.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think that the mighty's falling, and he's going to be in some trouble come playoff time. I think. I really like the Melvin Gordon on his team.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he's having a big year. I think Breeze is really, Breeze is hit or miss. Mike Evans is good, but
So-
he's got 2 tight ends starting with a tight end in his flex. Greg Olson's been hit or miss.
Yeah, and then Jimmy Graham. So all right. Bubba is 8-3. Handy Quacks is 6-5. So Bub's got a 2-game lead over him in the record standings there, and then Bub has approximately 240-ish, 230-ish more points scored than Zach. Yet it sounds like you're looking at this from a long-term standpoint as far as who's maybe going to go further into the playoffs and okay, all right, man.
I'm looking at this as to who is in a great position right now to win it all. Who's in a powerful position?
Yep.
And I think the reason I put Handy Quacks as number 2 is, as much you've seen a little life from Houston and their quarterback this most recent week. So maybe Hopkins pick it up. I think with the Watkins pickup that he has, Sammy Watkins is coming back next week or maybe the week after, and he's going to be a number 1 target in the bill. He's going to get plenty of carries. He's got Dougie Fresh coming back strong. He should be a monster.
As you said, his team, and I've been saying this as well, his team on paper looks very, 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 very good. But it gets to a point where it's like, all right, well, when do you just have to stop saying that? They're just not producing. But I still don't think we've seen the best out of Handy Quacks' squad, which is weird to say because I think, like Yoy Soy, if Handy Quacks lost to Loggers this past week, could he have become a seller? And if so, he may have been the greatest seller of all time and would have completely flipped the league over on its head. But now, but obviously that didn't happen. He won, and you're putting him in the number 2 spot, which then leads to the number 1 team. So I'll let you take that, sir.
I'll do Riverdale Scoopers. I think you're familiar with that team.
Yeah, a little bit.
Basically, I put them obviously number 1 because they are 10-1. They run through everybody every week, and their bench could beat my team. So, that's pretty much how it goes.
All right, I like it, Briscoe. Thank you for doing that. Let's continue and commence with this glorious, wonderful show.
Now, let's take a look into the
Future.
with next week's matchups.
We got ourselves 4 weeks left here, Briscoe, in the Dynasty 13. Week 12 is going to tell us a lot. We have a lot of very important big games lined up here, and a lot of those players are going to be playing on Thanksgiving as well. So let's get the shit games out of the way. So I'm going to be playing you. With all due respect, that should be a massacre. Hong Kong and the Senators are playing each other, so whatever. And the Loggers and Soul Glow are playing each other. So there's 3 games that, one game should be a blowout. The other 2 doesn't matter much except for some of the last place, stuff here that we have involved in the league. And then the 3 other games are huge. You got Bubblegum Shrimp, number 1 in the lead in the Central, going up against the Pig Newtons, number 1 right now in the lead in the South. Then you got VIP on Swole going against Brutal Deluxe, and then Handy Quacks going up against Yoy Soy Fiesta. All 6 of these teams are in battle to get into the playoffs. So, Briscoe, which game or games are you focusing on, or maybe all 3 of them? Which one tickles your pickle? Talk to me a little bit, Briscoe. Talk to me.
I think the first one that's gonna, one's gonna be a blowout. I think that Bubblegum Shrimp's gonna run away with this game this week.
Wow.
The reason I think Devontae Booker is kind of getting exposed for the rookie that he is at running back, and Melvin Gordon will really outplay him. And then you go down and you look at James Starks on Pig Newtons as well, and he's going to, you'll have some snaps in there for, Michael that just got signed by Green Bay.
Yeah.
I think he'll get his snaps eaten up. And you just run through here, and there's matchup nightmares everywhere for Pig Newtons. And Bubblegum Shrimp just is going to have the advantage. My prediction: Bubblegum Shrimp 101, Pig Newtons 82.
Okay. I liked it. You're throwing out scores here. And Brady is going up against the Jets, and typically he's had some tough stats when it comes to facing that defense.
In New York too.
Right. Yeah. In New Jersey, but gotcha.
Yes.
And all right, really quick now, since you opened this box here of fun and elaboration, give me a score of the VIP versus Brutal game.
The VIP versus Brutal game. Let's see real quick. Well, Alex Smith stinks. I have no idea. Alex Smith in Denver.
I'm sure. Well, I don't. Let's assume that he's not going to be playing Alex Smith in Denver, right? Or no?
Jameis Winston in Seattle.
Okay. Well,
or Alex Smith in Denver.
Maybe he'll make a pickup. We'll see.
Or if he listens to this Wednesday morning, it's Russell Wilson. I think that I'm hoping Brandon is going to find a way to win.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I mean, Heaney has the matchup advantages, but just the fact that Heaney's a terrible manager, I think that he's gonna somehow find a way to lose this game.
So Heaney will do something, whether it be starting the wrong persons, or whether it be something else fantasy god related, and somehow, some way, you're predicting Brutal to defeat VIP. And then in the Handy Quack Yoisoy game, what do you got going on there?
I got 88-86, Brandon.
Oh, wow, okay. I like it. For the record.
And then the Handy Quack game, I got Handy Quacks 110.
Yeah.
Yosoy Fiesta 103.
Okay, so another close game. We shall see. Bub needs 92 points to hit the 15,000 point marker. I mean, that's all something. Yeah, little fun fact. And then another one is Brandon needs 57 to hit 10,000. So a couple of little factoids there to hitting you hard with this information. And from a playoff race standpoint, we've already kind of talked about that. We've talked about what your predictions or your opinions are in regards to who you think are going to make the playoffs. Let me just confirm I'm understanding you correctly, sir, that you think that it's going to be the Scoopers, Yoisoy, Pig Newtons, and
nope.
No, you don't think Pig Newtons. You think Brutal.
The Scoopers, Handy Quacks, Bubblegum Shrimp, and Yoisoy Fiesta. Am I leaving out one of the division winners?
You are, yes. Someone from the South needs to get in there.
Oh, yeah. Pig Newtons.
Okay.
Pig Newtons will be in, and...
So maybe Yoisoy then you're saying will be out.
Yoisoy will be out.
Ah, okay. So a little change up there for you. Okay. Let's see what else we got going on here.
Stop everything. Seek shelter. Run for the hills. We have ourselves breaking news from the world of the Dynasty.
Okay, Briscoe, so we actually have ourselves, obviously the trade deadline, and depending on when you're listening to this, more than likely, if you're listening to this, you're listening to it on Wednesday, I'm thinking. You may be listening to it after that, or after Wednesday, and if so, the trade deadline has already come and gone, or you're listening to this when the trade deadline is at the stroke of midnight here tonight, or on Wednesday night, Thursday morning. So we got some wheeling and dealings here going on. We got 2 trades that have been submitted here, and you made implication earlier of a trade that you are involved in. So I'll let you go ahead and announce that one.
My one that I did is I traded Eric Ebron, who Pig Newtons was very fond of, as well as Dion Lewis, for Kyle Rudolph and James Starks.
Okay.
Personally, I think Kyle Rudolph is probably similar to Ebron, if not better. I think that the benefit here that for Pig Newtons is getting Dion Lewis. And what I will receive is I receive Hong Kong's 9th round pick, and Pig Newton's receives my 13th round pick.
Mm-hmm. And I think the 9th round pick was originally Hong Kong's, just for the
Yes.
record. Okay. All right, so there you go. I mean, I don't have to ask you why you're doing it. Obviously, if you can get anything at this point before the trade deadline from a helping you out in the future standpoint, it would make sense, I would think. And then obviously Phil must be high on maybe Ebron over Rudolph and Dion Lewis over Starks. He's trading. He's actually involved in the second trade here, which I will say right now is that he's trading James White. So he's getting rid of White and he's getting Dion Lewis. Obviously, he's higher on Lewis than White on the Patriots' backfield there, as I'm sure a lot of us are. He's trading away James White to Coach William DeYoung, the Rochdalian Senators. And in return, Phil is receiving Thomas Rawls. And I mentioned to you earlier, Briscoe, to keep that name in the back of your mind, and this is why. So Will is also receiving Phil's 10th round pick, which is a little surprising. I thought maybe,
He got a 10th round pick for Rawls?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Now it's become common here to have that type of reaction in regards to Will's trades, and I think the thing that I'd like to make an announcement here, and it's not just Will. I actually had something like this similar come up with another coach. I won't say his name, but it was not Will. Where I had no idea that a particular player was available. Now, it was on a team that maybe not be in contention, so I guess everyone's available, but when you actually have a trade that's locked in or close to locked in negotiation, correct me if I'm wrong, Briscoe, and I know you're new to the league, but wouldn't it be beneficial for you to at least, maybe not everyone, or maybe everyone, but at least a little bit, kind of ask around and see if you can get anything better before actually pulling the trigger? You're only doing yourself a disservice by not. I mean, there was a player that I wanted to get, and I would have given up more than what more than what the guy ended up getting. And I feel like this may have happened again here with Will. If he kind of put it out there a little bit and put in a little bit of effort. I know he's in Disney World right now, but do you think he could have gotten better than a 10th round pick?
Absolutely. I got friggin' Ebron I got a 9th for Eric friggin' Ebron.
I mean,
Thomas Rawls was drafted as a top 3 round pick.
Right, and I know he hasn't performed that way, but you got to think ahead to what he's going to be going forward. He's now, with Procise out, Michael was dropped from Seattle. He got the majority, I think, of the.
They regret that.
Yeah, he got the majority of the snaps, and last week once Procise went down, and Rawls looks to be now the guy going forward. Great trade by Phil. If the thing is that if Will did say tweet or email or post or text or whatever, everyone or at least all the contenders in the league and say, hey, I'm trading Thomas Rawls. I currently have a 10th round pick. Can anyone beat that? If not, it's going to happen by X o'clock. And then if no one did, then fine. Then you did your diligence. Nobody would beat it. You, Briscoe, can't say that it was a bad job. But the fact that I'm guessing he didn't, I know I'm a contender and I wasn't contacted. I mean, maybe I don't. I'm doubting nobody else was. If I am wrong, then I take it all back. But
no, and I completely agree with you. I mean,
Yeah.
That's something I did earlier this year. I had a 4th round pick offer for Gronk. Someone was going to give me a 4th rounder, and I shot it out there and I said, "What? Is there anyone that will give me a 3rd?" And I ended up getting a 3rd rounder for Gronk instead of a 4th.
Right, so you did a good job there. I mean, and it's a good conversation to have. I mean, the flip side of that is that there are times where a coach may go to another coach and say, "Hey, listen, this is the trade offer. However, it is right now. You can't contact anyone else, or I'm pulling my it's either now or it's not happening." And if that type of thing happened, which is fine, by the way, if that type of thing happened, then that's a little bit of a different story. But again, something tells me that isn't the case. So
Right. I mean, but for the most part, if someone says that, they have no idea if you actually do go to somebody
True.
else and ask.
True. That's true.
But and that actually leads me to a question: has there anybody that's traded 2 tight ends off their team and got draft picks on 2 separate tight ends in one year?
Why? Who
Because
did?
I've now traded Ebron and Gronk off my team for draft picks.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. I don't know. I'd have to go back into the archives and something that, I don't want to do right now or ever. But that's a good question. Nothing pops up at the top of my head. But that's a good, good swinging, moving by you. And again, that must be the reason why you're at the top of the grade, the trade level. Regarding, obviously it's more in the standpoint of helping your team for the future. Next draft, I'm sure you'll be one of the contenders. And now our last late-breaking piece of information here, Briscoe. Again, you're new to the league here, but Ren Geyer. Okay, what comes in your mind when I say that to you, Ren Geyer?
No idea.
Nothing. No, you got nothing. Excellent. Okay. Well, you should ask your friend Bubba Palucha about him. He's got some sort of sexual fascination with the gentleman. Yes, Ren Geyer. So Ren Geyer, as we all know, or most of us may remember, and not to beat a dead horse, real quick here, he is the creator, the inventor of Nerf. Obviously, we utilized Nerf at our drafts. Many years ago, we had Ren Geyer on this very podcast. I actually think he was the very first guest ever on this show. It was hilarious because he actually legitimately thought we were interviewing him for for legit reasons as far as his business and Nerf and all that. But it was really more of a joke to make fun of him. We even had him on the show a second time, I believe. We've been in contact with him through Twitter. He's recently followed the Riverdale Gazette on Twitter. He is at America's Grandpa on Twitter. Give him a...
Is he following the post?
Nope, he is not following the post. We will get to... Yeah, no. What? No, he's not following the post. He's following the Gazette. He also has a new YouTube show on that he interviews children about various topics. It's absolutely hilarious. Check him out on at America's Grandpa on Twitter. And
do the children sit on his lap while he's doing it?
The children actually do not sit on his lap. It is extremely creepy. And I'm going to leave this segment and you, Briscoe, and our listeners with this.
Disrespect you and call you crazy, but here's our number. Call the Dynasty. Get off your fat ass and don't be lazy. So fucking do it. Call the Dynasty. 617-943-6027. That's right, motherfucking do it. Go.
Good old Ren Geyer. Gonna live in our hearts forever. Okay, so we haven't done this in a while. I reached out through email and social media to everybody in the league, to everyone that is a fan of the show and this league and the Riverdale Gazette and everyone, and let everyone know to submit any questions you may have for Briscoe and I. And I did get some responses, so thank you, everyone. First and foremost, this show is probably running a little bit long, and that's okay. It's Thanksgiving week. We only have a few shows a year, so that's the benefit of doing that, is that we can go a little bit longer. You guys are going to listen. You guys are going to like it. This is a better listen to your Uncle Schmidt on the Thanksgiving table, talking about fucking Trump or Westworld or whatever. So keep your headphones on, and thanks for sticking with us here. All right, so Briscoe, this is how this works. I'm going to go ahead and read the question that someone submitted. These are all submitted through Twitter, and you and I, or one of us, will go ahead and answer the question. Here we go. At Rockdale for Life tweeted us, and he's asking us, what is the biggest rivalry in the Dynasty? So that is a good question. That probably, Briscoe, might be a question for me since you're a bit new here. The Senators versus Pig Newtons is always kind of a clash, always a battle, one of those old-time school battles to the end. But I think I want to say they've played each other the most amount of times than any Dynasty matchup has ever happened. But I also think there's something to the camaraderie of when you're actually playing each other and maybe reaching out to each other or watching the games together and stuff like that. So something tells me maybe one of the matchups in the Central Division, consisting of the Bub, Heaney, Zach trio that usually watch the games together. I don't know, Briscoe, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was on the same page as you. I was originally going to say Bub and Zach.
Yeah.
But I feel like when one of them beat each other, they just shake hands saying, "It's okay, buddy, it's okay. Let's go do CrossFit and do push-ups and burpees and stuff." But so I'd have to go with probably Zach in Heaney or you and Zach, because I know there have been clashes throughout the years through the league, but either you or Zach or Zach and Heaney, one of the two. I'm not sure, because I do agree with the same room dynamic.
Yeah. Regarding Zach and I mean, I don't know if it can really be a rivalry when one team completely destroys the other all the time, though. I'm 11-3 over Zach. And
11-3. Does he even participate every year? Or does he just sit all his guys?
I don't know, but and then Bub and I is also possible, but again, I'm 13-3 over him. I'm 24-6 against the Palucha brothers. It's not. It's I don't know if that's a rivalry. It's a destruction. It's a domination, right? So my final answer is gonna be Zach and Chris when those two go at it.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, you just feel the love and feel the tension and the passion of both of them. I think that's the key, actually, in the best rivalry, in all rivalries, is passion, is the passion of wanting to win. So that's my final answer. Okay, this is actually one of the coaches that submits Twitter questions over to the Oddsmaker videos. I love the Bruins more than my wife is asking us. I heard a rumor that you successfully used media parking pass at the game in San Francisco. Is this true? Because if so, I officially declare the Riverdale Gazette far superior than the Riverdale Post. Wow. Well, actually, that is true. We were able to leverage the Riverdale Gazette and its majestic, wonderful name and the honor of this publication, and we were able to leverage that to obtain some media parking passes out in San Francisco. So and it worked, and we got to park for free in the media parking lot because we're a media broadcast, and we tweeted during the game. So that consists of social media. Briscoe, you're speechless. You're not saying anything, and I'm scared why you're not.
I just completely. I don't even know how you got that pass. I have no idea. But you were in the parking pass, but they didn't let you in the media session that time, right?
Yeah, that is correct. I was extremely close to obtaining passes for the press box area, which would have been nice since it was raining and we were cold. And post-game press conference, locker room area. I would have brought my...
So why'd they shut you down?
That's a good question. Good questions, Briscoe. Great questions. Why did they shut me down? So I may or may not have been approved originally and then started asking too many questions, which then slapped up some red flags and had things looked into, and then it got denied. So I was very close. I was disappointed in myself as a person to bring those red flags in. But I'm learning. I'm a learner. And I'm going to use some of the information I've learned and, bring it over into future years. So you just hang tight. Anyway, we're going to move forward here because I'm probably going to end up in a straitjacket. I think Coach Brian actually tweeted at me and said that this particular circumstance is going to end in a movie, kind of a biography picture. And hopefully he's hoping at the end of this picture it ends with the fact that I finally got my dream job. And he took out 13 innocent civilians on a clock tower. So one of those things is going to happen. More to come on that, I'm sure. I've traded 4 more tight ends than you, has asked, what's more impressive, Bub's record for most weekly points scored, which is 201, or Eric's record for most points scored in a season. And I haven't heard anything about any records being broken this season. How come? Well, I'll take that second part first, Briscoe. The reason you haven't heard about any records being broken this year, or our awesome Dynasty record broken jingle here in the show, is because there has not been any records broken thus far here in the Dynasty 13. Though I will say we're close to having one record at least tied, which is a team that has scored the most weekly points in one season. I'm actually close to tying that record, but you never know. We could see some other record happen. As far as the first part of the question, Briscoe, what do you think? What is more impressive, the most weekly points scored or the season most points scored?
It has to be the season. Because, I mean, a weekly anyone can get. It can be fluke at any week, any given Sunday, right?
Sure.
But through the whole season, you have to consistently put up those high scores.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, obviously I agree. I'm biased, but in general I agree. But that I'll tell you what, that Bub 201 weekly record, it might be more notable. But however, I agree that the season-long one is more impressive and less fluky, if that makes sense. Then lastly, at CrossFit Forever has asked us, who has been the biggest non-injury player bust this season? It's a good question. Briscoe, who do you think? Oh, you know what? What about
probably Hopkins?
Yeah,
I think DeAndre Hopkins is up there.
What about it's
actually,
probably
no
Gurley?
Randall Cobb.
Oh, Randall Cobb's another one.
Even Lacey.
Yeah, he got hurt though. Non-injury bust.
Yeah, that's true.
I think you put Gurley there, right?
Gurley, yeah.
I think it's between Gurley and Hopkins. Gurley was, I mean, they were both keepers in our league. So, they're both they're both at the same level that way, and both have just really kind of been very bad. Which is weird because they're both on teams that are competing. So I don't know what to think about that. Anyway, that closes out Call the Dynasty podcast. You guys didn't really call, you tweeted. And thanks everyone who participated. Let's continue on with this.
Now, the Dynasty Podcast brings you an interactive and likely ridiculous segment, what's borderline on actual legit media. Buckle up your fucking seatbelts for the Dynasty Podcast interactive segment.
Thanks for everyone for continuing to listen here. Your dedication is glorious, and I know this is a longer show, but it's worth it. So we're gonna have a little bit of fun here in this segment. I asked Briscoe to come up with, I guess, a few predictions where he sees the NFL being, say, in 10 years. 2026. What are going to be some of the biggest differences than what's going on now? And I have a few of my own. Briscoe, I'll let you maybe kick it off if you want to give one of your predictions for the future.
My first, different but the same, is Rex Ryan will somehow still be in a head coaching league in the NFL.
Ah, okay.
Probably with the Jaguars or somebody.
Yeah.
But that's my number one. I'm not really sure how he's going to swing it, but for some reason people keep hiring him.
I like it. And as far as the Jaguars, that's one of my predictions. If I could, I'm going to predict that the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2026 will no longer be the Jacksonville Jaguars. They will be the London Jaguars. They will be in London.
London. See, I don't think that they're ever going to get a franchise over to London, just because of the time differences. You got to move your family there. I don't think so. But it's a fair point that they keep trying to push it over there.
Yep. And kind of intertwined with that, I also think that the Oakland Raiders will no longer be the Oakland Raiders, and they will be the Las Vegas Raiders. So that's one. Yes. One prediction that I have between those two teams being moved. Briscoe, another prediction for the future.
Andrew Luck will prove to be overrated and a selfish prick because he stole the whole team's salary cap, and the Colts are going to stink for 100 years.
Oh, I like it. Mine is technology based. I think that technology is going to be like way more advanced in 10 years than we are now when it comes to the NFL. I think that there's going to be microphones.
That's a bold prediction.
Yeah, I think there's going to be microphones and cameras like everywhere. I think there's going to be microphones and cameras on the ball. I think there's going to be them on the helmet, especially on the quarterback. There's going to be cameras on all four goal posts looking down at like at the sideline, which by the way would have helped a few weeks ago in that New Orleans Denver game. They're going to be on the refs. They're going to be on the coaches. They're going to be on the flags. They're going to be everywhere, and I think you're going to actually be able to control what view you're watching, like on your 4D TV that you're sitting like in some awesome like NFL created couch, which also like you get to like rumble when there's a big hit, or like I think it's just going to be nuts. Like it's going to be like crazy from a technological 4D cameras, microphones, like everywhere. That's a prediction I have.
That's interesting.
You got any more?
Yes, I have. Dak Attack will run the league in 10 years.
Well, wait a minute. That's now going into the dynasties, some dynasty predictions, which is a separate category. Let's.
Dak Prescott running the league.
Oh, I thought you said Zach. Okay.
No.
So,
Dak Prescott will run this league.
So like he'll be like the
NFL,
face.
and they'll have minimum of 2 Super Bowls in the next 10 years.
Wow. So he'll be like, you mean like he'll be like the face of the NFL? Like he'll be like the Aaron Rodgers, like the Tom Brady right now, basically.
I think he's gonna take over for Brady.
Okay.
And that's bold.
That is bold. I like it. I think that we will have an 18-game schedule by 2026, and my last one is that the goalposts, and I think this is an Adam Carolla special here. He's predicted this, but the goalposts are either going to be extremely extended up in the sky, like almost like over the stadium, or they're going to shoot like laser beams up, so that it's like very easy to determine whether or not a kick is in or within the post or not.
They have to.
Yeah, I don't know why that hasn't happened yet. That issue comes up all the time. So.
Also, Tom Brady will no longer be playing in the league.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think by 10 years from now, I think we all have to come to the realization that's probably going to be the case. I'm not looking forward to it. All right, so, and then I asked you, let's do the same thing for the Dynasty. A few quick little predictions. Where's the Dynasty going to be in 2026, Briscoe?
Naturally, I'm going to have at least 3 championships in the next 10 years. Minimum.
I'm gonna record keep this. I'm gonna archive this information, and come 2026, it's like a time capsule. We're gonna open it up and we're gonna look at it. So you don't want to look like a horse's ass. So careful with these. Careful.
I won't. I'm not worried.
All right.
Number 2.
Yep.
We will have 6 teams in the playoffs.
Ooh.
And fractional points.
All right, so I agree with you about the 6 playoff team thing because I also predicted an 18-game schedule, so that they both may intertwine with each other. I'll give you at least 5 maybe by then. At least 5 playoff teams. The fractional point.
How would you do that? How would you do 5?
You know what? I figured it out a while ago and I wrote it down and I don't remember. It has something to do with we could have some sort of triple threat match or something in round 1, like the. I forget. I have it written down. So if you want to know, email me and I can.
I will.
Yeah, email me separately and I'll look it up in my notes that I have. I think that this is a selfish prediction. I think that we will have the same 12 coaches in the league now that are still in the league in 2026. That is my prediction. Yeah, me too. I also think that we will still be drafting at the Heritage Park Clubhouse. But the big change is they will finally have Wi-Fi. in 2026.
Oh, I didn't see you guys surprised me this year. I got there and there's no friggin' Wi-Fi.
Oh,
surprise!
Damn it! I guess I forgot to tell you that.
It's all right.
What
about Jillian's? Will we still be going to Jillian's?
Yeah.
Service?
I didn't.
And weird TV.
Yeah, and the coloring TV issue.
Or we're gonna be sitting on a rumbling couch with 4D TV.
Yeah, if I'm gonna say no, because if the technology is where I think it will be, I don't think anyone will ever want to watch the games other than in their living room. So maybe we'll have our mid-season hangout, but we'll have it like at someone's house, and we can all bring our 4D couches with us or something. It sounds very sexual, but that's okay. Do you have any other predictions for the Dynasty?
My final prediction is Will trade Odell Beckham, who at that point will be a sure Hall of Famer, for Adam Vinatieri, who is still kicking at that point. Zach will then proceed to stand up at the draft and punch Will in the face.
Zach's an angry elf sometimes. Yeah. That considering what happened at the draft this past season, I can't say anything about that. My last prediction actually also involves Will. It involves both Will and Bubba, which is that both teams will still have no championship by 2026.
Wah, wah.
That was this week's Dynasty Podcast Interactive Segment.
Okay, Briscoe, can you hear? I don't know if you can hear. Can you hear the sound in the back here?
Very vaguely.
Yeah, very vaguely. And I'm sure you listeners at home probably can barely hear it as well. That's the type of amateur equipment we have here at the Dynasty Podcast, but that's okay. We're still plugging along here. That is a clock, because the trade deadline, as we'd already talked about, is right on the cusp of everything here, and it may have already passed by the time you're listening to this. But it is at the stroke of midnight, Wednesday night. So last chance for any buyers to make any last trades to upgrade your team. Any your sellers trying to help yourself for next year. Let's shut that down. Shut that shit down. Okay, Briscoe. The edition 3 of the Riverdale Gazette has come and gone. We've all enjoyed it. I'm sure we've all wiped our asses with it after taking a shit while reading it. Your favorite part of it?
My favorite part's the trade analysis after the fact.
Yeah. Yep.
That's and the misses that cost your team wins each week.
Yeah.
I like both those sections. I think those two sections are really good. Is that something that's up on CBS that you can just pull, or how'd you get that?
That's a great question, Briscoe. That is actually information that yours truly determines, analyzes himself. So
that's impressive.
Yeah,
impressive.
the fact that you like those the most is makes me feel good inside, because that's a lot of work that I put in, and I'm glad to hear that it's getting some play there. So, Briscoe, I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I'm very thankful for you taking time out here on Thanksgiving week to co-host this show here with me. I hope things went well for you. Where can the bastards listening to this show still? I don't know why you're still listening, but if you are, where can they find you on Twitter?
At Briscoe537.
There it is. So
also, if you want to pay any of my gambling debts, my PayPal is Briscoe537@yahoo.com. Any help would be appreciated.
There it is. Help a fellow league mate out if you can on this Thanksgiving feast of a week here. I hope everyone has a great holiday. I would like to thank everyone for listening. Our show is going to be continuing on. We'll have the rest of the season off, and we will be back for our special playoff edition. Until then, good luck the rest of the way. Over and out.
Thank you for listening to the Dynasty Podcast. To hear more podcasts in your ear holes, subscribe to the show on YouTube. Or don't. The choice is yours.